大家好，欢迎来到三人行课程系列。基本上所有的外国人都多多少少听说过孔子，但是他们中很少很清楚的能了解到孔子究竟是什么样的一个思想家。实际上，如果你问大多数外国人孔子主张什么，大部分的外国人可能会说孔子主张大家服从父母和君主，从而实现社会的稳定性。而孔子修身的思想往往是外国人不太了解。孔子其实非常关心我们如何提高和培养个人修养，不仅仅希望我们具备良好的道德，还希望我们能够通情达理，敏而好学。三人行中的概念就是非常巧妙地捕捉到这个儒学中的经常被外国人忽略的哪个方面。这不是一个教人尊敬师长、服从上级的故事，而是一个叫大家不断地通过向他人学习来取得进步的故事。在这个特别的故事中，我们甚至能看到孔子向一个孩子学习。所以请大家向所有的人、所有的外国朋友好好讲这个故事，让人们了解到儒学并不是一个狭隘、僵化、适合老式封建社会的思想体系，而是一个关注个人成长、于是俱进思想的体系。接下来我要给大家读一下我们书上的整个英文的文本。Where three men walk together, can I learn from one? Confucius's surname was Kong, his given name was Qiu, and his style was Zhongyi. He was a thinker and educator in ancient China and the founder of Confucianism. He lived in the spring and autumn period over 2,000 years ago. Confucius was already famous in his 30s. In his 50s, he was appointed Minister of Justice in his home state of Lu, the highest judicial position among the ministers of that state. Under his administration, Lu's social discipline improved markedly. Nobody would pick up things lost on the roads by others, and doors would not have to be locked at night. Because of his official achievements, Confucius, for a time, deputized for the prime minister, but he lost his government position when he fell out of favor with the ruler of Lu. He was forced to leave the state and, taking his disciples with him, traveled around various states in China. He suffered all kinds of hardships on his wide wanderings. Fortunately, he had his disciples to pull his wagon. One day, the wagon, which had been going very smoothly, suddenly stopped, as the way was blocked. Confucius sent one of his disciples to find out what the problem was. After a while, the disciple returned and said, "Some children have blocked the road with a pile of bricks. No matter what I said, they refused to clear the road." Another disciple jumped up and said, "I'll make them clear it." But Confucius knew he was impatient and hastily stopped him, saying, "Better let me go." He asked the children what they were doing. One said, "We're building a castle." Confucius asked, "Can't you let us go past?" The boy replied, "All over the world, wagons give way to castles. How can a castle give way to a wagon?" This reply caused Confucius to laugh bitterly, but he couldn't find the words to refute it. So, adopting a dignified posture, he bowed and said, "Very clever. Teacher, your pupil salutes you." Returning to the wagon, Confucius ordered that they drive round the obstruction. The disciples were puzzled. Confucius explained, "Those children are remarkable. They can figure out the reasoning behind a wagon yielding to a castle. That is something worth learning for us. We may have a high opinion of our own learning, but we should not despise others, not even children, not to mention adults. Wherever there are three men together, one of them may be superior to me. If we modestly learn from others' strong points, we will continuously improve ourselves. Let us regard this as learning lessons, and what we learned today was not an unimportant one. That boy has been recorded in history books as Xiang Tuo, one of the boy geniuses of ancient times. In the reading primer, the 3-character classic, there are the words, "Once Confucius learnt from Xiang Tuo. The sage of old was wise, but he continued to study diligently." Because Confucius paid his respects to him as to a teacher, later generations regarded the young Xiang Tuo too as a sage. There is a mountain near Rizhao in Shandong province where Xiang Tuo was born, called Sage Mountain in his honor. Confucius is very well known in China. He is also revered worldwide. He has been honored as a teacher of all ages, not just because of his vast learning and knowledge, but also for his modest attitude to study, which is an important reason for his worldwide respect. To learn from others' strong points, we must first learn how to discover them. If you are aware only of your own comparatively strong points, how can you learn anything? Therefore, recognizing others' strong points is the first step on the road of progress. So let us all look for others' strong points and discern the areas where they are or are not superior to us. The moral of this story. Confucius was a great thinker, teacher, and philosopher of ancient China. He was a man of immense learning. He had many disciples. Nevertheless, he was humble in his studies and prepared to learn from anybody. His reflection of the heart and wisdom of the Chinese people is one of the reasons for the veneration he received. Okay, so you've just heard me reading the whole passage from beginning to end in English. Now, in this next part of the class, what we're going to be doing is practicing recitation techniques and recitation skills so that you can make your voice more vivid, more lively, more engaging. 好，大家刚才已经听我把整个故事的英文版本从头到底朗诵了一下。那么现在我们要开始练习一些诵读的技巧。那么今天的课我们主要要练习的一个技巧是如何用我们的声音去分别不同的人物。所以我马上跟大家分享的节选有2个人物，一个是孔子，一个是他的弟子。然后我们要用我们的声音去反映这2个人物的不同的性格特点。有一个孔子的弟子比较急躁，但是孔子本身是比较安静，然后我们要通过我们的声音去反映出来这2个性格的特点。So in the passage I'm about to read, we need to reflect the different characteristics of the people in the passage. We have Confucius himself, we also have disciples of Confucius, and as we read their different lines, we need to use our voice and change our voice to reflect their different characteristics and personalities. Another small thing I'd like you to notice is that when I describe at the beginning of this passage the way Confucius's wagon is suddenly stopped, I use short, sharp sounds to reflect the moment where his wagon stops. 就是说，另外一点，我希望大家也可以顺便注意一下，就是我读到孔子坐的那个车戛然而止的时候，我会用一种急促的声音来反映这个戛然而止的那个状况。好，我们现在来听一听这个节选。He suffered all kinds of hardships on his wide wanderings. Fortunately, he had his disciples to pull his wagon. One day, the wagon, which had been going very smoothly, suddenly stopped as the way was blocked. Confucius sent one of his disciples to find out what the problem was. After a while, the disciple returned and said, "Some children have blocked the road with a pile of bricks. No matter what I said, they refused to clear the road." Another disciple jumped up and said, "I'll make them clear it." But Confucius knew he was impatient and hastily stopped him, saying, "Better let me go."所以在这个节选当中，大家已经注意到，我们有3个人物，一个是孔子，一个是一个弟子，还有另外一个弟子，2个弟子，还有孔子。那么一个弟子遇到这个问题，他就心里很着急，所以我读他的台词的时候，我带着一种比较着急的声音。第2个弟子，我们感觉是有一点愤怒，他觉得他这些孩子不应该这么做，然后他决定自己去处理这个问题，所以我读他的台词就带着那种愤怒的感觉。然后孔子他自己还是比较安静，所以我读到他的台词的时候，我就慢下来了，让我的声音就变得更柔和一些。好的，我们现在可以再来听一听这个节选。He suffered all kinds of hardships on his wide wanderings. Fortunately, he had his disciples to pull his wagon. One day, the wagon, which had been going very smoothly, suddenly stopped as the way was blocked. Confucius sent one of his disciples to find out what the problem was. After a while, the disciple returned and said, "Some children have blocked the road with a pile of bricks. No matter what I said, they refused to clear the road." Another disciple jumped up and said, "I'll make them clear it." But Confucius knew he was impatient and hastily stopped him, saying, "Better let me go." 好，我们现在再来练一练3个人物的台词。好，我们先练习第1个弟子。"Some children have blocked the road with a pile of bricks. No matter what I said, they refused to clear the road." 好的，大家可以自己练一练。好，我们先来练一练第2个弟子，然后这次我们要带着一种愤怒的感觉。"I'll make them clear it." 好，大家也可以自己练一练。然后我们现在来练一练孔子的比较安静的态度。Better let me go. 好的，那么我建议大家可以在家里把整个这个段落不断地练，虽然它只是几句话，但是你要练习的并不是单词，而是如何去讲这些单词。然后那么短的一个段落，其实有很多对于一个朗诵者很多比较有挑战的内容。首先，你要给3个任务找到不同的性格特征，还有像我前面也说过了，这个孔子的车，他突然戛然而止，那个时刻，我们也要用我们的声音去反应。所以建议大家在家里可以多练练这个段落。
Okay, that's it for today's class.
好的，本次诵读课就讲到这里。建议你听完后面的课程之后，可以再来回顾一下本节诵读课。Okay, bye for now. See you next time.